Okay, a special event today as we celebrate the world premiere of a movie opening this weekend, not in Hollywood, not in New York, but right here in Indianapolis. Patty's here with a special review of the documentary Tiger 24, and her claws are sharpened for this film.
That's your rendition of a tiger? Not bad. There you go.
This is a great film.
Oh, yeah. I saw it last night. Well, I don't want to give it all away. This is a dramatic documentary filmed in India that chronicles the life and legacy of a regal tiger, while also exposing the passion with which the native folks regard their tremendous tigers. Wild tigers were almost completely wiped out in the 1960s, spearheaded by imported trophy hunters. Then the locals embraced and implemented laws and plans to save their tigers. The tigers would come to live in special core areas. Yes, near humans, but still wild and free in their natural habitats. A precarious balance was put to the ultimate test just a few years ago, which a revered wild tiger, 24, reportedly killed some men who entered the tiger's territory. Now that tiger is declared a man-eater, captured and locked up in a zoo. Activists exploded, taking to the streets in protests and proceeding all the way to the Supreme Court.
Wow.
Was Tiger 24 just defending his territory, protecting his house and his family?
He was the pride of Ranthambore, but now is the biggest villain of the national park. We are talking about Ustad, or T24, who was abruptly relocated a few days ago, allegedly because he had turned into a man-killer. Accused of killing 4 humans in the last 5 years, Ustad is now forced to live in a small enclosure miles away from home.
A few brief and bloody scenes, be aware of that. This is real life, and we're dealing with carnivores. 1 hour, 30 minutes, but so rewarding. I was entertained. I was enlightened. I rarely get enlightened. And you're also left contemplating life itself and how much humans should interfere with the natural order of things. Plus, how upsetting the balance of nature can affect all living creatures. It was amazing. So I wholeheartedly recommend Tiger 24. It is a glorious documentary showcasing one of the planet's most glorious and often misunderstood creatures, the majestic tiger.
Okay, did you rate this one?
Yes.
I could probably guess what it is, but I'll let you go ahead and say.
I am proud to give Tiger 24 5 fabulous furry stars.
5 stars. That does not happen very often.
I know. First Maverick, now this. 2 completely different films, but it's just wonderful. As Tony Tiger would say, it's great. We didn't rehearse that.
No, we didn't.
It's really
obvious we didn't rehearse it.
Go.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful.
Okay. And you know what? We have more on the film. You know, Amber, George, special guest.
This is so fantastic. A very, very special guest, George.
Yeah. Warren Pereira is the director of the film, and he is on a tour, the movie opening at living room theaters across the nation.
Yes.
First of all, chronicle this for us. You are already shooting a documentary about a tiger in the wild, and then this is when the attacks happen.
Yeah, he'd killed 1 person before I started.
Okay.
Actually 2. Then I saw him after the second kill. I didn't know at the time. I just liked the tiger. He looked right at me in the lens, and I felt I wanted to make a documentary on this tiger. And then he kept killing people, and then when he got removed, he became really famous because of all the court cases, etc. And I happened to be the only person with all the professional footage of him, so I felt like it was my responsibility to finish the documentary, and it took on a much bigger purpose and meaning than I originally intended, which was just a wild tiger, you know, in doing a safari with the traditional behavior.
Wow. This is incredible because 10 years in the making. 10 years. Yeah. What is that like for you to be at this point right now, and especially looking back at your work, but also seeing how much people are loving this and enjoying it because they are now more educated and informed?
It shouldn't have taken 10 years. I wish it didn't, but in the beginning it was just the safaris, getting the footage, but the editing and the developments in the case and the possibility that he might be back in the wild and back and forth and all those things. It just took a long time, and I'm glad it's now done and people can see it, and I can interact with people. I'm doing some Q&As at Living Room Theaters starting tomorrow. So I want to see what people think and what they want to talk about,
And let's emphasize that point, because you're going to be in the theater. People can come in and they can. It's such a rare thing to be able to pose questions to the director, an award-winning director of a film like this.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's great because it's refreshing for me too to see what people think. And I think it is a film where there's 2 points of view.
Yeah.
And I think this is a conversation that's important for all of us, because most people like large carnivores, but at the same time, we don't give them the space they need. So this conversation, I think, applies to a lot of large carnivores that are going extinct, and they require these huge habitats. So when we preserve the carnivores, we also preserve the habitats around them, which I think is ultimately good for all of us.
Can you dive into that controversy a little bit? If people are perhaps wondering, the main part of the film, like what people are thinking, that controversy is something that, okay, yeah, he's a man-eater, and then it's the other people thinking, no, when you encroach on his territory like that, how do you expect him to react?
Right. I think, that's the most interesting part of the film, and we have to define, what a man-eater is.
Yeah.
And the old definition was, a tiger that seeks out human prey, and that's primarily what they're doing. In this case, it's a little different because people entered his territories. That's kind of this gray area. So there's like a new evolving definition of what a man-eater is. So I don't want to give the film away, but that's the question that's asked in the film. And there are 2 different points of view, and I think it's up to the audience to understand and maybe learn from the people that are inside, the film, who are the experts. Because I'm just a filmmaker, but I interview people who are experts on either side of this.
Interesting, for sure.
Yeah.
He is Warren Pereira. He is the director of Tiger 24, an excellent film, and you should see it at Living Room Theaters.
Yeah, good place to see it for sure. Warren, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, you guys, now is your chance to win tickets to Tiger 24, as George mentioned, at the Living Room Theaters, Indianapolis, at the Bottle Works District. Just go to wishtv.com and look for the contest page, and you can enter the contest there. You can also look for another hot ticket giveaway coming up a little bit next week. So there you go. Good stuff.